the true price of following my dreams. I thought becoming an entrepreneur and an artist would be so much easier. Everyone on social media made it seem like it was so easy to go viral from one day to the next and find success in your business venture or make this song go viral out of nowhere. Not only was I mistaken, it's so much harder than you can imagine just on the surface. Not only is it harder than I imagined, it's actually to a level where if you don't try it yourself, you can't even begin to understand how much of a challenge it truly is. But listen, even though it's incredibly hard to follow your own path, it's so worth it in the end. And if you can learn one thing from this video, is that you should go for it either way. But this is my story and I'm gonna take you through the journey and all the ups and downs that I've faced so that you can have a true understanding of the actual path that I've walked and that you might face similar challenges in your own path. It all dates back to 2018 when I first started making music because I knew that I wanted to become an artist, a musician specifically. But at that time, everybody said, this is not something that you can monetize. You're going to business school so that you can learn some tangible skills and get paid consistently. Because with music, we all know that you're not gonna put food on the table. So reluctantly, I went to business school and a new dream was born. If only I can be an entrepreneur where I can own my time, I can have all the money I want, which will bring me financial, time, and location independence. So I thought that's the new path, and that's gonna be my new dream for the next couple of years. I searched online how to start different online businesses, and they all made it seem like it was gonna be so easy. Like you could just get clients from one day to the next without any real effort or any real skills. So I started looking for clients. Of course, at this point I was still half in, half out, where I would maybe try something, sign a client, and since I didn't know what I was doing, I would lose them on the next month. But for me, it felt like real progress. I just thought if I can do this once, I can do it twice, 3 times, and so on and so forth. And of course, since I was in school and I was backed up by my parents, I didn't have much of a motivation or much urgency to make something happen from one day to the next with this business. So as I said, at this point, the progress was really slow. I was really trusting my purpose because I was going step by step, even if it was really slowly. It was until I had to go to university where I really understood this is not something that I want to do. And I gotta really hit the gas pedal to make this business thing work and drop out of university ASAP. So the little progress that I had made in 2, maybe even 3 years was not enough to get me anywhere quite yet. But right after I made the decision to drop out, that's when the real urgency kicked in. And I said, I actually have to do this right now. And it's safe to say that after I made that decision, it was the most stressful months of my life, or at least I thought so at the time. Of course, my parents were still giving me a bit of money, and it was almost summer when I had planned different trips and different activities. So I still didn't have too much urgency, even though I was a lot more stressed than before when I actually didn't have a single drop of motivation to go hard. So summer came and went, and September rolled around. That's when I actually went all in. But I wasn't even stressed. I was just focused overall. Not happy, not unhappy, I just was. From September to November, I basically didn't see any friends. I still went out with them once or twice per month, but overall I was focused on my purpose. And in November, I actually hit a breakthrough from after 3 years of having started to work on a business. And only 3 months of going all in did I finally make it work. Of course, initially it worked, because then things started to break and a lot more pressure came, but that's a story that we're gonna tell in the following section. So going back to the point, from November to January, I was the happiest person you could ever meet. Because I had just dropped out of university, and against all odds, I made the business work. But as I said, in January, it all started to fall apart bit by bit. I started to realize that the clients were only staying on for around 3 months, which if you do the math, the clients that I got in November were dropping off by January. So in February, again, I had a lot of pressure to perform and fix all the things that were falling apart from the couple of months I took basically as a vacation with the family. And at this point I thought I already went through the hardest period, which is when you get no clients, you have no idea if this is gonna work. And I said, surely it can't get any more difficult than this. But then I experienced the stress that comes from things falling on top of you and feel like the whole world is crumbling. Where now I had a business that had expenses and I actually had to make money every month if I didn't want to go under. So from February to May, I went through another season of a lot of isolation, a lot of stress to get things back in their place as they were in November and December. Those 3 months doesn't sound like a lot of time, but when you're in the trenches, it feels like the pain is never gonna end. Where every day a client is complaining, where you're struggling to get sales, where your expenses are going up and up and up. Like overall, it feels like you're drowning. But I digress. After steering that ship correctly, in June, I hit another wave of success after so much pain. And once again, I thought, okay, I finally made it. This should get easier from now on. I was mistaken. After that, I was hit with complete burnout from having traded pretty much my day-to-day life for this online business that was up and down. And at that specific time, it wasn't giving me any purpose. I felt like I was just spinning my wheels. So up to this point, we have 3 years of learning where I saw little to no progress. And once I got hit with stress, I made some results happen in the span of 3 months. And in the next 3 months, I was hit with burnout, which is worse than just having the business go under pretty much, because this was a bit more existential. This was a bit more mental in terms of almost depression. And I'm actually glad all of this has panned out the way it has so far, because all of this burnout actually made me reconnect with what I actually valued in life, which was the artistic path that I'm doing, the music that I also want to put out. And pretty much up to this point, the key insight that I see from my path is that sometimes I go all in, I got a lot of results, and then it goes completely the other way when all those results come crashing down, sometimes not even for a specific reason that I can control, but sometimes it is on me that those problems start in the first place. So it's pretty much like a pendulum swinging. Success, failure, success, failure. And of course, each season of success comes from a specific action that I took, and each season of failure comes from a specific factor, either that being me not working as much on the business or not attending important issues that are gonna blow up later. But the takeaway is that the business problems, when I go through a season of failure, they're usually fixed through that season. And in terms of the personal ones where I just go all in or all out, striking a balance between the artistic side of things, which is what fulfills me the most, and the business side, which is what allows it to even happen without any stress or complications, is the key for me, at least at this point. Of course, plans change, and I expect to learn more and be even more ahead in the following months and even years. But so far, I just want to give you a glimpse into what quote-unquote success looks like. At least for me, it's been a whole bunch of nothing and then drastic ups and downs. Like I'm talking aggressive ups and downs, as you just heard, of 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, so on and so forth. Hopefully it starts to stabilize in the near future, because as I said, as long as I don't quit, either the business problems get fixed once and for all, or at least I get the solution which I can implement once again, or the personal problems are sorted out in the moment. Of course, there are a couple that are complex to say that they're solved, like burnout, but keeping a balance between what I truly value in life in terms of work, personal side of things, and art is the key to creating a plan that is gonna stick with me, not only today, not only in 1 month, but in 1 year or 5 years. So that's my journey up until now. I hope that if I can inspire you with something, is that if you truly want to follow your own path, either that being in business, in art, or in whatever you want to do, just know that this is part of the process in terms of the uncertainty, and that in the moment it feels terrible. You have no idea how lonely, how burnt out, how depressed I was during each one of the hard periods of my life. But the key was to never give up, because I know behind one of those hard periods, there's gonna be a really good one that is gonna make everything that I just struggled for worth it. And in my worst days, I only think to myself, I can either take like a loser's mentality and say, why is this happening to me? Why is this so hard? Or I can take a mental frame of power where I can say to myself, to become the ultimate person that I want to be and to reach the goals that I set for myself, I must go through this. Like I'm being forged in hell to get to my goals, to my ambitions. And for example, last year or even 2 years ago, I wish that next year would be easier on me, where I would just say, please, I hope that next year I just get all the success and it's just easier. And it turns out it was actually quite the opposite. Each year has been getting progressively harder. So for 2025, I'm literally just asking, like, bring everything you got. 2025, just hit me with everything at the same time. I just want to see what hard truly feels like. Once again, in retrospect, it doesn't sound like a lot of time, the 3 months of hardship that I was facing constantly. But when I was going through each one of those periods, I have no idea when it's gonna end or if it's going to end. And every single day, it feels like I would just rather be doing anything else, anything except this. But I still keep going. Maybe because I have already burnt all the boats. Like I have no plan B. Either I make this happen or what am I gonna do? There's no other option. So I gotta go all in. With that being said, that's been my journey up until December 2024. I hope to motivate a few of the people that are listening, inspire a smaller percentage, and make 1% of you listening never quit. That's all from me for today. Thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for the next video.